Get ready to hear the truth about America. A new show that isn't allergic to the facts. The Bold Conservative. Now, here is your host, James Ledbetter.
Hello to all my bold conservatives out there. Today, we're going to discuss how the left's fake outrage is costing them the 2020 election, and they don't even know it. All of this fake outrage that they keep coming up with, it's all disingenuous. Then, we're going to talk about how Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Bill Cassidy file a resolution to designate Antifa as a domestic terror organization. This is the Bold Conservative Show. We're going to get started here, but first, take a moment to consider one of our sponsors. Bluehost website hosting is one of the top recommended WordPress providers by WordPress.org. Enjoy a hassle-free WordPress installation of all accounts, or you can choose one of their beautifully prepaid templates to get started. Trained in-house experts are there to help 24/7. Their robust help center includes guides, video tutorials, and more. Try Bluehost and love them, or get a refund within 30 days of signing up. Not too many website hosts can actually say that. Your satisfaction is their top priority. Also, get access to marketing services, tools, and paid ad credits to boost your website's global reach. Get a special deal of only $3.95 per month when you visit them at bluehost.com/track/theboldconservative. The link will be in the description. Get started on your beautiful website and get it hosted today. All right, that being said, the left's fake selective moral outrage. I mean, all of us know exactly what they're doing here. They're only selectively outraging certain things that the Republicans allegedly do or say. However, if you think long and hard about it, the only people that are abusing women are Democrats. Hello? Can anybody tell me what this Epstein thing is? He's a Democrat, and he's molesting children. Harvey Weinstein, 100% Democrat. Abusing women. Excuse me. So where is the outrage here? The outrage only comes when either Trump says something or a conservative says something. As you recall, first it was obstruction. Then it was collusion. Now it is racism, as one of the four members of the Female Apocalypse, AOC, and the squad of young radical socialist women are now the face of the Democrat Party. And Nancy Pelosi is head in name only. So you have Nancy Pelosi, who is supposed to be head of the Democratic Party at the moment, but she's not. She's actually giving in to what these crazy four women say and do. And now the Democrat Party is all about racism. Everything is racist. Everything, including milk, folks. They have decided that milk is racist. If you drink milk, you're a racist. This is insane. So what do they raise their babies on? Are their babies racist? They have to drink milk. So Ocasio-Cortez and her followers want open borders. They want to abolish ICE and destroy our government and replace it with their socialist paradise, utopia, which has never worked anywhere. It's been tried. These new Democrats are promoting misery, oppression, and exile at the end with socialism. People are sick of this. Not only Republicans, but moderate Democrats are also sick of this. Everything we do or say nowadays is considered racist, which I said yesterday and I said the day before. This is the thing. The Democrats are ruining the word racism, because racism is a serious issue. If somebody hates somebody because of the color of their skin, they have problems. They have serious social problems and mental issues. However, the left has ruined that word and has pretty much labeled everything racist. So, what Trump is doing now for the economy, the veterans, and the military are what people can support. The Dems have nothing to offer except their Green New Deal and free everything. They want to offer free health care. They want to forgive student debt. You know, people in the medical industry, people in the education industry use this money to earn a living. And now the Democrats want to get rid of this. And who do they expect these people to work for? These people aren't going to work for free. Where are they going to get this money from? They're going to raise taxes. They're going to raise your taxes so high that you can't afford to pay. It's just like Obamacare. Obamacare became so expensive, it was no longer the Affordable Care Act, but it was the Unaffordable Care Act. And half of Americans didn't even have it. So it was actually cheaper for them to accept the IRS penalty when they went to go file their taxes. It was cheaper just to take the penalty rather than pay the premiums of insurance under Obamacare. So now the Democrats are outraged because 90% of Americans do not want government-ran health insurance because it's crazy. And then what are they doing? They don't trust the government, but they want government to dictate who lives and dies. That's what it's all about. So they really don't understand what they're talking about. And Trump said this July 14th. He said in a tweet, "So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all." I mean, think about that journalist. There was a journalist from Somalia who actually went to Somalia to report on how great Somalia is. And that's where Ilhan Omar is from. So she went to go report on how great Somalia is, and she was murdered by Somalis. Her own people murdered her in cold blood, and her husband. And from what I recall, even there was an American involved in the murder, getting murdered as well. So here's the thing. Ilhan Omar comes from this country where they're murdering their own people. She's rescued by the United States from Somalia, her and her family, and then She grows up, becomes a congresswoman, and then starts bad-mouthing the United States of America. She starts bad-mouthing our flag and propping up Al-Qaeda. Of all people, she props up terrorists, and the left is completely quiet and silent, and they defend her. Now, what Trump's doing is Trump is making those four women the face of the Democrat Party. And it's genius. I was watching Fox and Friends yesterday, and Rush Limbaugh was on, and Rush Limbaugh said it best. Here, we even have a clip. Roll the clip.
Third time's not a charm, apparently. Al Green continues for this impeachment push, and it failed.
Here we go again.
Is what the president's doing grounds for impeachment?
No. They want to impeach him because nothing else they've tried to get rid of him has worked. The Democrat Party is bankrupt. They are devoid of any ideas that appeal to people. They cannot even join us in the arena of ideas to debate the great things and issues that we all face. Instead, all the Democrat Party can do with their leadership in the drive-by media is try to destroy their political opponents, try to discredit them, try to marginalize them. They never join us in the debate. Meanwhile, look what's happening with substantive things like the economy and employment, particularly for minorities. They got 95 votes, and there wasn't even a reason to impeach. They were just impeaching to do it. I say, let them continue. I hope they continue to illustrate how wacko, how morally bankrupt and substantively bankrupt they are. That's why I hope Omar keeps talking. I hope Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I hope they keep talking. I hope that Trump continues to succeed in making all of these people the face of the Democrat Party. That'd be great.
See, Rush said exactly what all of us are thinking. All of us are thinking that the left, they could care less about what Trump says. They could care less about what Trump does. All they want to do is get rid of Trump. So you have all of these Congress people that are trying, well, not even all. Most Democrats know that going for impeaching Trump is a lost cause. It's a lost cause. It's not going to happen. There's no grounds for impeaching Trump. There's no grounds for indicting anybody in the Trump campaign. We learned that when Mueller came out with his report. So you tell me, all of this fake outrage that the left is going after is completely disingenuous. Completely disingenuous. Think about this for a minute. Trump has just made it harder for illegal immigrants to cross the border and plead asylum. And they're not even saying anything about that. They're more interested in Trump telling Americans who don't love our country to leave. They can leave. They can stay. They can leave. But why would you want to be a citizen of a country that you hate? And that's all Trump was saying. And the left is more interested in attacking Trump because he said that than they are anything else. As a matter of fact, Representative Liz Cheney, a Republican from Wyoming, said Trump was being falsely attacked because his criticisms have nothing to do with race and everything to do with patriotism. And this is what she said. I want to make absolutely clear that our opposition to our socialist colleagues has absolutely nothing to do with their gender, with their religion, or with their race. It has to do with content of their policies, Cheney said in a statement. Then she went on to say, there's nothing wrong when they attempt to impose the fraud of socialism on the American people. or excuse me, she said they're wrong. I was about to say, they're wrong when they attempt to impose the fraud of socialism on the American people. They're wrong when they pursue policies that would steal power from the American people and give that power to the Democratic Party. And Liz Cheney is so right. This next election in 2020 will determine if people want government controlling their lives under socialism or freedom and prosperity like we are now experiencing. Think about this. Americans prosper more than any citizen in any other country in history. America is the country where you have the freedom to choose. You have the freedom to choose what you want to do, what you want to say, and you can say it. You can criticize the government. But I've actually been to countries where if you criticize the government, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. So when I travel, I have to be careful because though I am an American and though I am under the U.S. Constitution, I still have to be careful. So here's the thing. One of Trump's closest congressional allies, Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican from South Carolina, advised Trump to avoid the ad hominem attacks, telling him to knock it down a notch. Why? He wasn't talking specifically to AOC and her four apocalyptic Jezebels. He was talking to anybody in America who has a problem with America. But we're about to get started. Next, we're going to be talking about how Ted Cruz and Bill Cassidy has filed a resolution to designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. But first, consider GameFly. GameFly puts video games where they belong, in the hands of the gamers who love them. The GameFly website and mobile app for iPhone, iPad, and Android all make it easier than ever to buy, rent, and play the games you love, and for less. GameFly's mission is to provide the most cost-effective and convenient way to play a wide range of console games. Subscribers select titles on their website, receive video games via first-class mail, and return them to GameFly at their convenience using the company's prepaid mailers. Subscription prices range from $15.95 a month for a one-game plan to $36.95 per month for a four-game plan. Subscribers also have the option to purchase a video game they are currently renting through GameFly's Keep feature. They also sell used console games. Start your free trial at GameFly and rent games for your favorite gaming platform. The link will be in the description below. All right. So now that being said, Ted Cruz and Bill Cassidy Tuesday filed a resolution to designate Antifa as a domestic terror organization. So what's the problem? Antifa, as you may recall, a member of Antifa just tried to bomb a United States facility. That's terrorism, folks. And that's not all. Anytime any prayer group get together to pray for the nation, you have Antifa showing up, trying to pick fights and attacking old people. They attack elderly people, they attack children, and they attack women. They attack people, and see, what they do is they create a crowd and start surrounding one person, and then they start attacking that person. But anyway, on Thursday, I said Tuesday, it's Thursday, Ted Cruz and Senator Bill Cassidy designated to categorize Antifa, a militant left-wing group known to assault political opponents and journalists, as a domestic terrorist organization. And this is what they said. Antifa is a terrorist organization composed of hateful, intolerant radicals who pursue their extreme agenda through aggressive violence. Time and time again, their actions have demonstrated that their central purpose is to inflict harm on those who oppose their views. Cruz tweeted this: Antifa is a terrorist, that's what he said. And then he followed that up with, like any terrorist organization, they choose to pursue their political ends through violence, fear, and intimidation. They must be stopped. I'm proud to introduce this resolution with Bill Cassidy to properly identify what Antifa are: domestic terrorists. And that'll work, because that's what we're looking for. We want these people to be held accountable for the things that they do. Now, Senator Cassidy said this on Twitter: Antifa are terrorists, violent masked bullies who fight, in quotation marks, fight fascism with actual fascism, protected by liberal privilege. And this is what Bill Cassidy said. Then he went on to say, bullies get their way until someone says no. Elected officials must have courage, no cowardice, to prevent terror. So if we had a bunch of ISIS terrorists over here bombing things, bombing buildings, killing people, what would the left say? Would the left defend them because they're Muslims? Because they're a member of the protected class, a protected class? Muslims are under a protected class. So if you have Antifa ISIS over here attacking people, and a lot of the attacks are similar these days. I mean, you have Antifa putting quick dry cement in milkshakes. And as I've said before, the quick dry cement has acidic properties, and it burns your skin. And that's what helps the quick dry cement to quickly dry. So, ISIS is straight throwing acid on people they disagree with, all over their face. It's the same thing Antifa's doing. Antifa is just pushing and pushing, trying to see what they can get away with. And that's all that they know. That's all that they know. All you have to do is disagree with them, and they count you as a fascist. And they're using fascist means to do it. And they claim to be anti-fascist. Let me tell you something, folks. What did the fascists do? They tried to silence the opposition. They burned books. And that's what they're doing. They're burning digital books. They're getting rid of conservative voices that they disagree with. And they label them racist. They label them fascist. And that's all they have to do. And then you have CNN and MSNBC and Nancy Pelosi defending them as patriots. I've never known an Antifa member to be a patriot. They hate America. You have to love your country to be a patriot, period. You have to love your company or country. You have to respect the presidency, the office of presidency. You don't have to like President Trump, but you have to respect the presidency. And they do not respect the presidency. when they are calling to impeach a duly elected president into office. The resolution that they're pushing says the group diametrically opposes First Amendment values of peaceful assembly and free speech, which is true. It also cites the physical assault of journalist Andy Ngo in Portland, Oregon, in late June, and the threats Antifa members have issued towards employees of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The document ends by calling on the federal government to deploy all available and appropriate tools to combat the spread and growth of domestic terrorism in the U.S., grouping Antifa in with white supremacist terrorism. And that's what they should do. However, once they do this, what's to stop Antifa from changing their logo, changing their name, calling themselves something else, and then going out to do it again? Going out to terrorize, but now they're under a different name. I mean, that's what they'll do, and we all know that's what they'll do. So what are we to do to stop this ignorance from the left? Because keep in mind, most people on the left find nothing wrong with what Antifa's doing because CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times, they all praise what Antifa is doing, no matter what they do, no matter how horrid they are, no matter how violent they get. CNN pushes that they are doing what's right. They're doing what CNN wants them to do. Imagine this. Imagine if CNN started condemning left-wing violence just as much as they condemn right-wing violence. Imagine where we would be. We would actually start uniting and coming closer together over a common cause. Eliminating terrorism, eliminating anything that harms us as a nation. Open borders harms us as a nation because we don't know who's coming in. We don't know who's here. We don't know what their plans are. They just come in. And now the left wants to make it legal to come over the border. Just come on in. We'll give you free health care. 90% of Americans do not want that. 90% of Americans are opposed to the left giving illegal aliens free health care. But then you have the Democrats wanting to open the borders. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to come over here, and don't get me wrong, we are for legal immigration, or at least I am. I'm for it because we need people, we need workers, but we want them to come legally. We want them to come through the ports of entry like DHS tries to suggest that they should do. And that's right. They should come through the ports of entry and come apply for asylum the legal way and work on becoming a citizen. There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is the left going down to the southern border, crossing the border and telling these people how to get over here and how to avoid criminalization. And either way, if they cross that border illegally, they have broken the law. It's not against the law to plea asylum, but it is against the law to cross over our border against our wishes, against our will. So and 9 times out of 10, these Democrats, when you ask them, well, are you going to open your house to these aliens, these illegals? Open up your house to these asylum seekers. Give them the key to your house and let them move on in. They always have an excuse as to why they can't do that. They always have an excuse as to how they're not going to do that, and then they call you a racist and a bigot, and they move along and move on to the next person. So let's keep this in mind. Antifa is a terrorist organization. They could care less about anybody that opposes them. They don't care about our country. 90% of them don't even agree that America shouldn't even be a country, that we shouldn't have any borders, that we should just let people on in, just like a occasional Cortex, as most people call her, or Ilhan Omar, or Rashida Tlaib, or the other one, it's hard to remember her name. All four of them are pretty much Antifa activists. That's what they are. They're activists. And this is what happens when you elect activists into Congress. They do what they do best. They're activists. They're left-wing radical activists pushing leftist agendas like socialism. But that's all the time we have for today. I thank you all for listening. Tune in Monday because we have a fun-filled week of news to unpack. Y'all have a great day.